Right now is joining us the Vice President of the Ontario Soccer Association, Ugo Di Federico. Welcome to Touchline. I've been after you for the last 3 years. We finally got you here. But let's talk about the event today. Last week in the Ontario Cup Finals, what a great event. What a display of great talent we have here in this province. Talk a little bit about that first.
Well, as we know, this is what the game's all about. This is why the Board of Directors, which is a meeting going on now, this is why we meet. The product's on the field. We're happy to have all this talent displayed, and we're here to support the game.
Ugo, do you support long-term player development? Because there's a lot of people out there that not are on board, and there are some that are on board. What are your thoughts moving forward?
Well, there's no doubt long-term player development is the way to go. I think we as the association and the leaders here in the province of Ontario need to show some leadership in the area of communication and making sure that people understand what we're trying to do. Everything dovetails with the national association. I think Ontario is one of the leaders, along with BC and Quebec, in implementing long-term player development. And if we get it right, they can do nothing but promote the game and perhaps grow it a little bit more in Ontario.
You are one of the key members here at the Ontario Soccer Association, Vice President. Are you out there in the community? Are you going to clubs talking about long-term player development? Are you going out there shaking hands and asking people what you as a Vice President and the board can do to help them ease into it?
Well, we all have that responsibility on the board to get all the way from the president to all of the directors. Certainly, as vice president, my goal, one of my goals, is to promote the long-term player development. The staff at the OSA is primarily charged with making sure that that message gets out there. We, as the board, are here to support the staff initiatives and to make sure that that communication gets out there, is accurate. And whatever is needed, we provide the resources for the staff to do that.
Ugo, in the last couple of years, let's be honest, from the previous administration, this time I've got to give credit to a lot of the board members. People are listening. They're picking up their phones. They're returning messages. They're listening to what the parent, the coach, and even the referees have to say. What needs to be done to progress a lot quicker, more forward, so players can get better, coaches can get better, and referees, more importantly, must get better? What needs to be done in your eyes?
Well, there's no doubt that the long-term player development captures all of the elements you just mentioned. It's a technical issue. We are here to make sure that we're organized, because at the bottom end, everything else resolves around technical, whether you're talking referee development, certainly player development, and coaching development. You have to have the coaches in place if we're going to progress. And I think we've come a long way in that. We're continuing to build. And I think the product, you will see the progress that is being made. I think the difference is what has to be done too is that we can't all do everything. And we have to start understanding that we have to work together and have a trust in the fact that at all levels, whether it be the association, the districts, the clubs, the leagues, we're all working together towards that goal of producing a good product, and not forgetting that the majority of the individuals who play this game, be they 5 years old or 50 years old, play it for fun. And that's what we're here to promote. And at the same time, giving the opportunity to those players that wish to pursue it on an elite level.
Ugo, the biggest complaint I've gotten over the last 3-4 years since I've been doing Touchline here from parents and coaches all over the province is, why does my child, girl or boy, have to pay to be on a provincial team? Anywhere else in the world, if you're good enough, if you're an absolute terrific athlete to play the game that you love, they shouldn't be paying. Why is this happening on the provincial teams? And are you, Ugo Di Federico, going to make sure this doesn't continue?
Well, you know, that's a tough question. I certainly don't have the answers to everything. And when you look at it, it boils down to the way that the game is funded. In Canada, we're funded a certain way, very different from the rest of the world. There's very few who have the approach that Canada has through a player registration fee, if you will. And that filters down to the provinces, to the districts, and to the clubs. So the association continues to do what it can in terms of making making sure that those elite players are serviced and that they have a chance to show their wares. Unfortunately, the way that the funding filters through now and the availability of outside funding, even from the player fees, whether they be government or sponsorships, needs to grow. And that's one of the areas we're paying attention to.
Well said. A couple other concerns, and then we'll let you go because we got you out of a board meeting. But some of the concerns that have been expressed to me, Ugo, is outside of the GTA. We live here in the GTA. We're fortunate to attend a lot of club games, a lot of events, what have you. But outside of the GTA, in the Ottawas, North Bays, Thunder Bay, Sault Ste. Marie, South Ontario, they call this really the GTA Soccer Association. That is the joke out there. How come the board members and others haven't done much more to make them feel part of this family?
Well, you have to understand that, the province is a big province, and like any other province, the population is centered in a certain area. I'm originally from the Sioux, so I know that feeling, and I can assure you that the association, the board meetings that go on, we don't look at in that light. Although there is an issue that here in Toronto, it's a GTA type of promotion of the game. Our challenges are such that, again, geography is so wide. Most of the countries in Europe can fit in individually, can fit into Ontario. So we have a challenge, and it boils down to dollars, and we have to have the dollars to put the facilities out there in those outlying areas that you mentioned, and also to give the feeling to the rest of the province outside of the GTA that no, that is not the case. We're here to support you. We do have issues. We're working on them, but like everything else, it takes time. And again, it takes a team effort to overcome that.
Last question, and we'll leave it at this. The raging debate for the last, I would say, 5-6 years, and I want to hear from you, your opinion and your thoughts on this. Clubs versus academies. It's still hot. It's heavy. Parents like to bring their kids to the clubs, many of them, but a lot of them have gone away from the club atmosphere and have gone into the academy atmosphere. Why can't we all get along, Ugo, and for the betterment of the player to make sure that we develop good players instead of club versus academy all the time? Your thoughts?
Well, I wish I had an answer to that. The answer, though, lies again in recognizing that if we're to grow this game, we have to be all-inclusive. And the Ontario Soccer Association has to show leadership. The issues associated with academies, and no doubt they have to have a place in the game, is that it's regionalized, really. It depends on where you're talking about the area that the issues will surface. At the club level, you are concerned about territory and about how it'll affect your game. At the end of the day, I think we have to respect the fact that we have to look at it from the point of view of the consumer, the customer, and are we doing everything we can to satisfy the customer?
Well said. Ugo Di Federico, I finally got you on. I give you a lot of respect and props for showing up. And again, keep up the good work because not too many people know. A ton of the board members are all doing this out of their own time and they're volunteering, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, well, we're here to help the game, and that's correct. We do not receive any remuneration. We're here for the love of the game. We try to give back. I go back to coaching my daughter and daughters when they started, and on top of that, trying to bring my business experience back here and see if I can add something to the community.
Ugo Di Federico, thanks for joining us once again. And build bridges, as you said, that's what is important here at the OSA.
Well, thanks for having me, and yes, we finally caught up.
Ugo Di Federico, Vice President of the Ontario Soccer Association.